Hello and welcome everybody to another SCCS webinar. Thank you so much for those of you who have joined us today. This has been a really fun way for us to be able to share our program with you while we can't show you our actual campus and meet with you in person, which we hope to be able to do soon. But for now, thank you again just so much for being here and for joining us to just hear a little bit more about our program. So today I'm going to be talking to our elementary dean, Alicia Preheim, who is right there. And she's going to share with us a little bit about what elementary at SCCS looks like and how that can be a benefit and a support to our academy families or those who have chosen to homeschool. And as we have found, our homeschool families have been a benefit to us as well. So it's been a wonderful partnership over the last few years. We've loved having our homeschooled and independent study elementary kids running around our campus and being involved in a bunch of different ways. And so we look forward to just sharing that with you. So Mrs. Preheim, thanks so much for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I first want to just go over some of the details of the academy program. So the elementary academy program. We're going to talk briefly about those features, and then at the very end of this webinar or right after our interview, I'm going to be talking about the newest options that are now available for our academy families. It's something we've been working on for a while now, and we are excited to share those with you today. So first, just to go through the basics of our elementary academy program, there's a picture of our administration. And for those of you who may be on here for the very first time, the history of Santa Clarita Christian, which Mrs. Preheim can echo there, which I'll explain that in a moment. Mrs. Preheim, do you know the people in that photo?
Oh gosh, it's so little. I probably do know a few people in the photo. I cannot see it very well.
Sure, no problem. Yes, it's small, but the reason I say that is because Mrs. Preheim, as she'll tell you, is actually an alumna of SCCS, one of the first, and I love that. I love that fact. I think it's so neat. But anyway, SCCS has been around in our valley we just celebrated our 38th year in Santa Clarita. It is the ministry of a church, Santa Clarita Baptist Church, that you can see there formed from the merging of two churches. It's a wonderful story that is on our website if you're ever interested in seeing the history there. Basically, a man who was looking for a way to build a community of believers in this valley started a church in his garage. Long story short, we now have a thriving student body, and it's connected to the church there, and we're very thankful for those early days and the faithfulness of those believers and their vision to start a Christian school. So, so basically we have grown from small to still semi-small. Our school's not huge, but it's a good number of kids, and it's a wonderful community, and we're thankful to the Lord for every year that He's allowed our doors to stay open, and He has brought people sovereignly to us for many years. And so we are excited to just keep going and doing what the Lord has for us. So that's a little bit of the background of the history. And then here is our mission statement. Again, all of these things are on our school website if you want to just explore it a little bit more. But our mission is to partner with Christian parents of like faith for teaching students' minds and training their hearts for God through distinctly biblical education. So briefly, it is teaching minds and training hearts for God. I knew I was going to trip over that, but that's what you'll see on a lot of our publications. That's been our motto for a long time, and that is what we strive for. Both the academic, the training of the mind, and the discipleship, the training of their hearts. So that is what we seek to do in every area of our school, whether it be this program or athletics or academics. So just some quick facts. Our current enrollment hovers around 400, goes up and down kind of based on what life looks like at any given time. We are all on the same campus, which is wonderful. Sounds crazy, but It is actually a wonderful way for our younger kids to get involved with the older kids, and for for them to kind of partner together on things, but they are also separate enough that the little ones don't run into the big ones. It's actually just a beautiful little community of kids. We are accredited, fully accredited by WASC. Our graduates do a really fantastic job of earning honors and scholarships. The majority of them do go on to matriculate to universities, colleges all over the country and the world, not just locally, but everywhere, with both athletic scholarships, academic scholarships, and some of them do stay local and choose to go to COC and then on to other things after that. But we are very proud of our graduates. Every year they do a wonderful job. So those are just some real brief facts about our school. And then next, moving on to the Academy. So the Academy itself was started in 2017. We started with a small group of families who were willing to bear with us as we started a new program and worked out the kinks, and based on a lot of their very helpful feedback and sharing of their needs, we grew to 31 students in 2018, and this year we have 44 students K through 12 in our Academy program. And our mission here is very similar. We're looking to partner with like-minded families and support them as they seek to do their education at home. And that looks so different for each family. So our mission really is to try to provide options that will serve each of our Academy families with the needs that they have. And I love what our administrator says over and over. I have to write it so I don't botch it completely, but he says that our mission should be, Dr. Wilson, says that we are striving to make quality Christian education as accessible as possible to as many as possible. So that's kind of the heart behind the Academy and the full day program. So for highlights for the Academy is obviously our community. We've talked about that in our past webinars. Just being able to connect to us, whatever that looks like for your family. Some use us for a lot of things, and others choose to mainly, just homeschool and kind of do their own thing, which is totally fine. But our community is a wonderful, just real vibrant group of people. And so as an Academy family, you can choose to be a part of that, whatever that looks like and whatever your needs are. Another highlight is the personalized learning plan, meaning that as the Academy director, I'm working with you to kind of put together with as much help you need as possible, or if you choose to do things on your own, that's fine too. But we do ask that you work with us just to put together an academic plan, and we do offer guidance for that. So if it's your very first time homeschooling, the guidance and support is there for you. And if you are a seasoned homeschooler, we're there to help you, support you, whatever that looks like. But we do seek to try to figure out what's best for each child and help you in that pursuit, whatever that may look like. Again, there's lots of flexibility there. So the record keeping is a major part of it. I know that a lot of independent study families start thinking about transcripts closer to high school. That is a very important and very exciting part of being in the Academy, which is being able to get help from our very amazing academic dean and college counselor, Mrs. Puglisi, who is very, very experienced when it comes to academic counseling and college counseling that is available. And I'm probably jumping ahead on the bullet points, but that is something that is available to you. And then, of course, like I mentioned, the connection to the community is the opportunity to participate in our athletics, K through 12, our choir, any of our music programs, and other school programs that are offered throughout the year, whether they be academic competitions or field trips, things like that. And then the opportunities for social and spiritual growth is something else our Academy families have loved. Our banquets, our carnivals, we have something we call a fall fling for high school, which is really fun, or our retreats, our chapels, things like that are available to you as an Academy family. And then I mentioned field trips, and there's some pictures of some of those. We have Academy families that will hop into that, and I'm going to talk to Mrs. Preheim about that in a second. There's our 8th grade DC trip. We've had Academy families attend that as well with our kids, and they just fit right in with that group of students. Choir, in that picture, there's a handful of our independent study students who are in that choir with all their peers, and they travel around, they go to competitions. The choir is really a wonderful opportunity. So I'm going to just now, I believe that's the last slide. Oh no, I'm sorry. Here's the elementary highlights. And it's pretty similar to everything I just discussed. As a member of the Academy, you would be able to have all of these things. The record keeping, you would be under our private school affidavit, so you are an enrolled SCCS student. You would receive, we would input your grades into our system just like we do with our full-time students, and you would receive report cards and records just based the same as our full-time students. Yearbooks, school photos, standardized testing, and then we do have our chapels, which you're more than welcome to, our weekly Wednesday morning elementary chapel, and the field trips. So it's kind of just being able to connect to our elementary program while still doing your schooling at home. And then the kind of optional things are there for you to choose what you would like to be involved in, such as things like the STEM Expo, our weekly enrichment classes, which we'll talk about, academic competitions, and the enrichment after school opportunities that are available. And those do vary from year to year, but again, all optional, but there for you to participate in as an Academy family. Okay, so, oh, look at that beautiful family. So this is Mrs. Preheim, and I am going to now turn it over to you. Can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and this beautiful picture?
Yeah, first let me just say I'm sorry for the outside noises. Like most of you, I have a family who is doing Zoom things from home as well. So my best option today was to be outside for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I have been a part of Santa Clarita Christian School for many years. In fact, when I first started, it wasn't even called that. It was called Canyon Country Christian School. And we were the Condors. Our colors were blue and gold. And then my senior year, we switched over to being the Cardinals and Santa Clarita Christian School. I first came to the school in the late 80s as a teacher after graduating from the school with a class of 4. And I taught 2nd grade. And I taught both 2nd grade and 4th grade until I decided, my husband and I, to start our family. And actually, in preparing for this, I had completely forgot that that first year that I had stopped teaching, because I was going to have my first baby, I actually did homeschool a student from Santa Clarita Christian School. He was in 6th grade at the time, and homeschool was very different back then, but he just needed some extra help. His family was not able to do a homeschool with him, so he actually came over to my home every day, and I homeschooled him in 6th grade. So I've actually been able to do 2nd grade, 4th grade, kindergarten, and 6th grade. It was when I was teaching a couple of years ago, I decided to retire. Well, no, it wasn't a couple of years ago. It was just last year. And this is how I have found myself in this new role as Dean of Elementary. But it's really, I'm able to come alongside and support the teachers and just help them in many different ways. Which it's just been a joy. I've loved doing that. I've loved working with Lynn on this end of things. And you can see my family is growing. Each one of my kids, they are also graduates of Santa Clarita Christian School. And we're anticipating a couple of weddings in the next couple of months.
Oh yeah, a couple. I had to, yes, got it. Okay, it took me a second. Yeah, that's so exciting. Okay, and also we're privileged to have 2 of your kids as teachers on our campus as well. So there's quite a legacy being left by your family at SCCS, which is awesome. Okay, can you just, Mrs. Freeheim, you've given us a little background on your history. Can you tell us a little bit about our elementary program? And I know that would take a long time, so I'm asking for just things like the focus of the curriculum, just in general. You don't have to go to each grade level, but if someone were to ask you just to give a little glimpse into our full day elementary program, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so each grade has several pullouts that they go to throughout the week. So that's one of the highlights of our elementary program. And because I really love phonics, that's the first thing I'm going to talk about. In our lower elementary, we have a very strong phonics curriculum. In kindergarten, they're learning how to read by December. In first grade, that process is still continuing, but by the time they get to second grade, they know how to read, and they're now reading with a purpose. As they continue on into each grade, different genres of reading are included in our curriculum, different literature, poetry, historical fiction, nonfiction. And as they're maturing in their reading ability, they're also discovering, I hope, a love for reading and a love for the different areas of reading, poetry, or maybe they discover that they love fiction or they love nonfiction. One of the things that is really exciting about our curriculum is it's consecutive. So I feel that that's really important because there's no gaps.
Mm-hmm.
Grade
Yes.
teacher knows what the second grade teacher accomplished in her class. The sixth grade teacher knows where the fifth grade ended the school year in their math curriculum. And that's just really important. The fifth grade teacher can go to the sixth grade teacher and say, hey, this class they were struggling in this area, and then the sixth grade teacher knows exactly what they were taught. And so it's a building block, and I just feel that it works really well. Um, we have different projects that the kids are all able to participate in. And it's just really a well-rounded curriculum, and all of the subject matters from Bible to history and science, they all build on each other.
That is really great. I love that about our curriculum too. So I can attest to the kindergarten reading, which has been amazing. My child number 3 is in kindergarten this year, and I've been listening to her lately get to do her reading groups every day online with her teacher. And I can't believe how much she's grown since she started in August when she couldn't read at all. That has just been such a pleasure and a blessing to watch that. One of the benefits of this whole remote learning thing is I get to overhear it and just to see her growth because of that solid phonics foundation that our teachers build is really just been wonderful, even on a personal level. There was something else you mentioned I was going to ask you more about. Oh, okay, so you mentioned that phonics is one of your favorite things. Can you speak a little bit to what if you have any other kind of favorites or highlights through the years of teaching elementary? Let me ask that first, and then I'll branch off to my other thought.
Yeah, so actually one of my favorite grades to teach was second grade. That's the grade that I spent the most time in. The reason I like that grade is because I love seeing that light bulb come on. Every second grader that comes into second grade at the beginning of the year, they don't come in as a full reader yet. That could just be because it didn't click. It could be because they came from another school and they were taught differently. There's a lot of different reasons. It could be basically just maturity. Well, it's really exciting to see all of the sudden that light bulb just go off in their head, and it's really exciting to see when it does click. And that's just one of my favorite things. Our classrooms are small, so I was always able to have smaller reading groups, which then allowed me to have the extra time to spend with each child, especially the ones who maybe it hadn't clicked yet. So one of my favorite things every year is just when that reading ability clicks for them. And it just opens the door in every subject. All of the sudden, their math story problems make sense to them. Maybe they knew what they needed to do, but because they were struggling with reading, they weren't quite sure how to figure it out. So it just opens up so many areas for them. And it just opens up that joy and that love for reading when they want to go to the library and pick out a reading book that maybe they thought at the beginning was too hard for them. And now all of a sudden they're excited and they're telling me that they finished 2 chapters of whatever book from the library that they were reading. It's just one of my favorite things with them. And I loved teaching Bible to them. I loved every day having them just come and sit down with me on the carpet. I wanted to see their faces up close, and I just loved sharing God's word with them and breaking it down, and just seeing a lot of times their questions that they would come up with and how they were just able to think so deeply. It was always kind of a surprise to me where they would go with whatever lesson we might be doing in Bible.
Yes, that is so great. And I love, that's probably my favorite part of teaching as well, is that light bulb moment that they have in any grade level. One of the beauties of our school is the ability to have those conversations where we can open up God's word, we can intercept the questions that they come to school and they have, and we can start to train them to think from a biblical worldview. And that, I mean, there were times when I was teaching 6th grade that my entire lesson that was in my lesson book would go to the side because we'd have a 45-minute conversation about heaven or what it looks like when you die, or, you know, the things that kind of run through kids' minds. That's really neat. And again, on the personal level, to be able to experience that as a parent and to know that what the teachers are teaching my sons, who are both in high school, and my little one who's in kindergarten, is pretty much exactly, not pretty much, it is exactly what we are teaching them at home and at our church. So I love that. That's great. I'm thankful you mentioned that. But, you know, you must have been reading my mind, because the next part of that question was about our small class sizes. So you just spoke to that. And I think that's another really wonderful thing about our elementary program, is the fact that we do keep our class sizes small. And you do also usually have an assistant teacher in there with you. So can you, well, you kind of already described that, but let's bridge the gap into the academy. So knowing that you were a former 2nd grade teacher, and I believe it was either in the 1st or 2nd year of our academy, you had one of our students, our academy students, who I partnered with you. And basically what that looked like is his family chose for him to attend our enrichment classes and field trips. So can you give us a little picture of what having an academy student in your class looks like?
Yeah. So when, like you said, it was the 1st year that we were doing the academy, I feel like I was very fortunate in that I knew the family.
Yes, they're a wonderful family. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really nice for me. I had a relationship with Mom, and he also knew me as well. Um, and what I tried to do was just communicate with her anything and everything that we were doing in the classroom. For example, if I knew a field trip was coming up, I made sure well in advance that she knew the dates of the field trip and those types of things. I also, this particular family, they wanted him to be involved in most all of the pullouts that we had. So she had a schedule of the times that our pullouts would be, and he just came in. He knew exactly what he needed to do. He stopped at the office. We always knew that he would show up in our class and then walk with us to choir or to our computer class, whatever pullout we might be going to, PE. He had the routine down really well by about maybe the 3rd or 4th week. If we had classroom parties, our Christmas party, I always made sure that, you know, they knew the times that it was going to be, our Christmas programs, any of those types of things. I tried really hard to always include them in my family newsletter.
Mhm.
That way, in case I did forget to say, hey, we're doing that, she at least always knew in my email to the parents that I sent out each week. But also it kind of helped her see if she was keeping on track with the things that we were doing in our classroom as well. It was the kids, the students, they always knew that we would have our student come and join us for the different things. Coming to chapel, we always saved a seat. I actually have had a couple of academy students over the year. And so one of my academy students, I would always have a buddy walk them back to the office. They just didn't have the campus down quite as well, and they were just a little bit insecure about going back to the office. So I would have a buddy from my class walk them back to the office after chapel. So it really was seamless for me. It's just they are a part of my class, and um, it, it just was seamless. It
That's great.
like he or she was not a part.
That's great. Yeah, and that's been our hope. If you've ever watched any of my other webinars or interviews, it's been our hope from the beginning that our academy students come on our campus and feel like it's their home, because they are. They are enrolled SCCS students, but you have the flexibility to choose what you want to be involved in and what you don't. So for example, if you're paired with Mrs. Preheim's class and you're getting the newsletters and the information about field trips, if you don't want to be a part of that, you absolutely are not obligated. But some families do choose, and or maybe you'll see one field trip and you'll think, oh wow, that pumpkin patch, that I'd love to hop in on that. And what we've seen, and I can say this not just as the person who's been involved, but well, I'm trying to be objective, but really, truly, what I have seen is our student body has just blown me away with how welcoming they've been, from little kids all the way up to high school. Our kids have really done a good job of throwing their arms around those students, figuratively and literally. And I think they're so excited to see them when they come on campus, because they don't see them every day, that we've really worked hard to try to make it so that the students who do choose to come on campus for art or music, or even just to play, soccer after school, feel that they are just as much a part of our community as the students who are there all day long. Would you agree with that, Mrs. Preheim?
Yeah, and they're excited that there's somebody different, like what you said. And when I had my academy students, my class would say, if we were having a special thing, they would always say, well, is so-and-so coming? Are they going to come? They were always really excited. And my class in particular, even the parents rallied around that. When I, would send out the email that we were collecting treats for, whether it be our assessment testing or our Christmas party or whatever. My room mom, for example, would always say, is your academy student going to be joining us? So it was nice that while they're not there, they're always thought of and thought.
Yeah, definitely. That's a great way to explain it. I love that. Okay, well, thank you so much for that. Is there anything else that you want to share that I haven't asked you? Yes, good.
I would just say, if you're thinking about having your elementary student come as part of the academy, whether you want them to only, for example, go to chapel, or whatever your thinking is on that line, at the beginning of the year, I definitely would encourage you to start forming a relationship with the teacher. Maybe we have a back to school day where the students come and they put their supplies in their desks and all of those things. Maybe find out when that day is and just go for 20 minutes or so, introduce yourself, meet a few of the parents, just let them know that you're a part of our class,
Mm-hmm.
that you're a part of the academy. Just make friends that way. That way, if you do decide to join on field trips, you have faces to put together in your mind when you go on the field trip. You if you join in on the Christmas program or the spring concert, you have faces, you've started a relationship. And I can speak for all of the elementary teachers, they actually would love that. They would love for you to come, introduce yourself, meet the student. And then if you're like, yeah, I don't really need to have the weekly email from the teachers, you can just let them know. It definitely does not hurt their feelings, but it's a joy for them to be able to include you in all of the different communications. So I would just really encourage you to seek out and form a relationship with whatever teacher you're being paired with.
That's so helpful, and you're so right. Our faculty from little to big have embraced, not just gotten used to, but embraced the academy, and it is just a part of our framework now. And I believe that our size allows us to be able to kind of cater to academy families just the way we would if our families were there all day. So there is a lot of flexibility, but there's also a lot available to you if you do choose that. So thank you so much. That's so helpful. And thanks for your years of caring for your own academy kids that were with you. Okay, so I want to just stop really fast because I will forget to say this later, but there is a Q&A box. If you're watching us on Zoom or Facebook, we do have Lana Gibson, our marketing director, who is monitoring the questions, and she's sending them in to me as they come in. So I've got one question here, and it says, are we starting school in the fall? And I'm so glad you asked that. That is a super hot button topic right now. So I consulted our administrator, Dr. Mark Wilson, to make sure that I was answering this question correctly. And basically, our plan as of today is that we are fully committed and convinced that the best thing for our school and for our families is to open our physical campus for regular classes, like normal, whatever that looks like, on the first day of school, August 18th. So we are committed to opening. That is the plan right now. Obviously, with appropriate safety measures in place. Dr. Wilson is doing a ton of research. He's doing a lot of inquiring and study, and he's constantly in contact with the authorities as far as what's allowed. We are not a public school or in any way affiliated with the public school districts, so that gives us the ability to kind of, figure out what that looks like for our school specifically. But the plan is right now, yes, we are opening school on August 18th. Yes, he has to come up with a plan, B, C, D, E, F, G, based on what the next several weeks look like. But the plan right now is to open our doors with the appropriate safety measures in place on the first day of school, which is August 18th. If you have further questions about that, you can certainly call the school office or email him, but that is what the plan is right now. Let me see, there was another question I want to make sure I answer. Where did it go? Okay, planned start date is August 18th. And info on the elementary school and costs are on our website, which is www.sccs.cc. We'll kind of post that at the end. We do have an admissions process, and our admissions director, overseer, is Misty Bucknell, our registrar, and she is a wealth of knowledge about the program and how to apply and what it looks like to kind of get that process started. So you're welcome again to call the school office, visit that website. There is kind of a process on the website where you can fill out an interest form, and she will get back to you and help you with that. Let me see if I got them all. Let's see here. Kinder is both full and half day. So let me just give you my own family example. This year, as I said, my third out of my 5 children, and actually number 4 is going to go to kindergarten next year. And this year with my third, we started her off in half day because I was feeling possessive and didn't think she was ready to be gone from me all day long. But by, I don't know, September 1st, she was begging us to stay all day. So half day basically is, they go to school till about 12:40. They go through all their morning subjects, then they eat lunch with their class, and then they are released. We chose to keep our daughter in half day until Christmas break, and then we moved her to full day in January because she was begging us and she was so sad to miss out on that afternoon. So just a little anecdote, but yes, we do offer both half day and full day options. Our school day starts at 8 a.m. and that half day ends, I believe, is it 12:40? Now I don't even remember. I think it was 12:40 or 12. Yes? Okay, good.
Kindergartners get to eat lunch
Yes.
and then they go home.
Right, right. Which my half day daughter was still so excited to bring her little lunchbox, eat with her friends, and then she came home. If they're full day, they go to school till 2:55, which is the same end time for all grades, K through 6. Makes it easy if you have siblings that you have to deal with and pick up as far as pickup goes. Okay, I think that's all of our questions right now. So Mrs. Preheim, is there anything I've missed or anything else that you've shared so much and you've been super helpful? So anything else to add? Not to put you on the spot.
No, you went over the fact that we love to have the Academy students join in all of even our after school enrichment programs, the Pee Wee sports that we have
Yes.
throughout the year. All of those things are available, and yeah, I think
Okay.
they
That's
love it.
great. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. We do have sports available for our Academy students from grades K through 6. It's really fun to get them going that young. And those Pee Wee sports are very popular. They are pretty much usually always right after school, and there's no weekends. So that makes it really convenient for families as well. Okay, I'm going to move really quickly into just giving a very brief overview of our secondary academy options, and then we're going to talk about our new options. So our academy is obviously also available for grades 7 through 12. The options look very similar to what we've discussed in elementary, except that the transcript and the graduation plan become very important in these years. So that academic counseling is absolutely priceless. I just did it with my own son and our college counselor, and I think, the whole price of tuition is worth the wealth of knowledge and information and help that you can receive from that one-on-one college counseling with Mrs. Puglisi. So we are going to be offering both PSAT and SAT testing on campus, Lord willing. So for our students and our academy students, that's available as well. So let's see what is on the next slide is just some more of our secondary benefits. So you can, as a secondary academy student, come on campus and take up to 2 classes. Those can be dual credit, they can be electives, they can be core classes. We have students that come just for Bible because the parents want their child to sit under someone's teaching. We have kids who come on campus for things like chemistry, for English history, for choir. You can definitely come on campus and do those 2 classes as a 7th through 12th grade academy student. Again, the participation in the on-campus events that I mentioned before. We have a weekly secondary chapel that's separate than elementary. That's on Wednesdays. Not required, but you are more than welcome, and we do have many families that take advantage of that as well. We will have some mandatory academy meetings throughout the year, but we're limiting it to 1 per semester with the hope that that makes it easy for our families. Our athletics obviously ramps up 7th grade and up. We talked about athletics on my webinar last week with Coach Darcy Brown, who is the girls volleyball coach. We also have a thriving basketball team, football team, soccer team, many options. If your child is an athlete, baseball, I should mention, that's a big one at my home. And so we've got that opportunity and many academy students who take advantage of that. And that's also a really fun way for your child to connect with our community. That kind of becomes their family of people. End of the year awards for all grades and graduation. For example, our 12th grade class this year has 7 academy students. It's been so fun to watch because our amazing student activities director, Mrs. Clapper, she's done a bunch of really fun and special things for this year's senior class, who's obviously been tremendously impacted by this quarantine and coronavirus. And our academy students have been a part of everything that she's or that the whole school has done for our seniors. They will walk in graduation. They will not be in a separate section of the stage. Well, actually, who knows what that will look like. But technically, in the past, in our full-scale graduations, our Academy students are participating. They participate in Senior Appreciation Week and all the dedications. So that is a wonderful benefit for your independent study student. Field trips, we have overseas field trips available, study trips to England with the Brit Lit class, DC with the US History class. So those are available and have been attended by our Academy students. And each year we have many colleges that come and visit during a lunchtime or a break, and our Academy students are welcome to come to those college visits on campus as well. So those are just a few highlights of our secondary, if you're interested in that. So here is a list of our dual credit classes. We did a webinar 2 weeks ago with Mrs. Tanya Carter, who's one of our current Academy families who worked really hard to kind of figure out this dual credit situation for her son. These are the classes that we offer on our campus, taught by our teachers. They have been approved and have the necessary certification to now teach college level classes we partner with the Masters University and Colorado Christian. And so basically, if you're not familiar, what that means is your child is taking a class in which they receive high school credit, and they also may get a transcript for that class from the university as well. So if my son takes English composition, that will satisfy his English high school credit, and he also now has a transcript in hand from the Masters University saying that he has already taken this class on the college level as well. So Lord willing, when he applies to colleges, that will be a class that he's done. He does not have to take. And what it ends up doing is saving a lot of money. Obviously, each university is different, and we can help you with the application process and everything that looks like, but that is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for our Academy students to participate in as well. And then our athletics, major, major part of our school community, as we discussed last week. If you are interested in that, I would encourage you to go back and listen to what Mrs. Brown said. She wrapped it up and summarized it perfectly, what it looks like for both our school and for an Academy student. We had one of our Academy athletes, Sydney Steele, on last week, and she also just put it in the perfect words to describe what it's like to come on campus and play sports as a high schooler. So we are proud of our championships. We're proud of the seasons where we don't win a championship. It's always an opportunity for discipleship. I often say that this is probably one of my top reasons for wanting my children at the high school, and there's many, I say that about a lot of things, but what my son has been able to learn from his coaches has been invaluable through the years. And knowing again that they partner with me as far as Christian worldview and biblical understanding, that is a huge, huge benefit. So here's a little a list of our sports that are available, and based on need and availability, sometimes this list grows. For example, in the past, we had a golf team because we had someone to coach that and we had interest. But this is kind of the basic list of what we do offer every year. And it's been a very successful part of our school community. It's really great. And as I look through these pictures, as Mrs. Gibson is flipping through them, it's so fun to see Academy students in them. It's really, I've been, again, just so blessed with how our school community has just embraced our Academy students and treated them not any differently than any of our full-time students. It's been really fun to watch that happen. This is a picture, just for those of you watching again with secondary students, of one of our dear graduates, Shelby, who will miss a lot next year. She's a lifer. We have a group of lifers every year who are with us from when they're little tiny to 12th graders ready to go on and tackle the world. So here's her course list. These are all classes that she took through SCCS. She was able to get accepted to many places. She chose and committed to Baylor University in their honors program, where she'll be studying pre-med. So with her AP scores and her dual credit, she received 53 units of college that basically what that means is she has 53 units already under her belt as a high school graduate that she does not have to take at Baylor, which is amazing. And that's a lot of credit to Shelby. She's a very hard worker and a very studious young lady. But this is basically her experience and her time on our campus. So as an Academy student, you are certainly welcome to pick and choose those classes and also get that really important help from our college counselor. Basically, she can find out what you're hoping to do and tell you how to get there. And so that's what she has done here with this young lady as well. Okay, so this is, unfortunately, we were not able to take this picture this year. So we did have our students take individual porch pictures, which are wonderful, and they're on our website. If you search around, it was a really fun project, also done by our amazing volleyball coach, Darcy Brown, who has the wonderful talent of photography and went around and took our decision day pictures on the student porches. Really, really cool. But this is the year before decision day. 100% of them received an academic or an athletic honor. And so our students have shown a tremendous amount of success as far as the colleges that they've gone on to and the careers they've chosen. And so it's really exciting for us to see what the Lord does with each of our kids, even though we miss them and it's bittersweet when they leave us. It's so fun to see what the Lord does in their lives. Okay, and so if you are interested in finding out more about our academy or even applying, basically the first step is to complete the enrollment process, which does include filling out the application online, and then you would have a family interview with Dr. Mark Wilson. You would meet with me 3 times a year. Basically, which is listed there. You're at the beginning of the year. We do ask that you kind of go through an approval process as far as what you're going to be using. And if you need help with that help and guidance is there. Then you're turning grades into me every 9 weeks. So it's pretty much a quarterly grade turn in. And then our next meeting is in December, where we kind of wrap up the semester by, just kind of reviewing highs and lows, or if there's adjustments needed or support needed. And sometimes it's just a wonderful get together where you tell me about the thing, or I usually ask the student about what they've learned or what their favorite, project was, and you bring me a small portfolio of work at that time too. And then our last meeting is in May, where we kind of wrap up the year. So there's 3 required meetings with me, grades every 9 weeks, and then I am always available for as many meetings as you need in between those times. Okay, so moving on to our new options, and I'm hoping to explain this as clearly as possible, but I do want you to know that some of the details we're still finalizing. This is all set, what you're looking at right now, but based on just everything going on around us and just all the moving parts, we know there are even situations that we may not have thought about yet as far as questions. So I would just ask that you would bear with us as we're ironing out the fine details, but these larger details are in place and are here for you to kind of look at and see what would be most helpful to your family. I want to also mention that if you get to the end of this and there are questions, I would be happy to meet with you. I know Mrs. Bucknell and Dr. Wilson would be happy to meet with you as well. So don't hesitate to reach out if there's a question that is, if a part of this that is confusing in any way. I should mention too that we have actually been working on these options even before quarantine, but quarantine has made us kind of, pursue this even more. However, this is something that will be in place quarantine or no quarantine. Our goal has really been to make the academy accessible to the many needs of our homeschool community. We really do desire to partner with our homeschoolers and find ways to connect with you and have you connect to our Christian school community, whatever that looks like. So I can say in my 44 students that I have in my program this year, every single family situation is different. So this is our attempt to really try to provide even more options for what the needs are out there today. So real generally, I'm going to start with option one. Our programs pretty much just build on each other here. So if you think of tiers, option one is kind of the bottom tier. And this is not something that we've offered before, but we're just calling it very simply the SCCS Private Satellite Program, which is kind of, it's for the homeschoolers that just need us to keep records. So if you are homeschooling, you're going strong, it's something you've done, you don't really need that much advisement, but you do need to connect with a school who will hold your records, who will have that private school affidavit, or you will fall under that, then we want to offer that for the first time. Just the individualized learning plan means that we will still need to meet so that I can at least approve your plan, but then the schooling part is up to you. We will keep your records where you will turn in grades to us. We will put it into our program and you'll receive report cards and transcripts from us. And then the annual standardized testing as well. So this is for the families who are looking to connect to a school or need the umbrella of a school that is there and available to you. The next tier is option number two, and this is also brand new and may take a little more explanation in a future webinar, but what we're launching in the fall that we are super excited about is an option called SCCS Online. So what SCCS Online provides is everything I just discussed, the record keeping, the enrollment, private school affidavit, all of those things, but you would also have access to our entire curriculum online. So what that looks like is if you are a family who's thinking about homeschooling and you really have no idea where to start as far as curriculum, or your child learns really well online and you'd like to continue that because of the flexibility it offers and because your child can do classes at 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. or maybe they're, I talked to a mom just last week who they tend to travel a lot and they need some flexibility. There's about 1 million different opportunities for this to work for your family. This is our curriculum in an online format. So our curriculum, we're so excited to partner with BJU Press in this, Bob Jones University Press. It is a Christian worldview curriculum. And what that means is that the worldview that is taught in the Bible is woven through the curriculum. I've loved it as a mom, watching my older sons, learn why we believe what we believe and how that works into all of the subjects, how God can be seen in literally everything. But they also learn kind of the critical thinking part of that, which is, here's what you might hear from a different situation, and here's what the Bible has to say about that. So obviously it's a very highly academic and rigorous program, and it is written from a Christian worldview. So just to give you a picture of kind of the curriculum that we do use, so what your child would be learning from from SCCS Online is the material that is used in our in-person on-campus classes, just in an online format. And what that looks like is your child would have a portal and he or she would sign on each morning or whatever works best for you, flexible there. And each day's lessons are already there for him, let's say a hymn, and he knows, okay, today I need to do this, this, and this, and everything would be submitted online. So it's a 100% online program. Another wonderful benefit of this is that it's completely overseen by us. That means we are keeping track of grades, we are doing the grading, we are helping with that pacing, like what lesson is next. We are pushing if a child gets behind, like, hey, don't forget about this paper or these math lessons, you noticed you scored low, what can I do to help you? So it is completely governed and overseen by SCCS. And so the beauty of that is you as a parent don't have to worry about that part. Although I should say, we don't want parents to just turn on the computer and leave every day. We still definitely require parent involvement and oversight, but the logistics of the grading and the academic part will be overseen by SCCS. So that is a wonderful opportunity if that is something that would help your child or your family. It's like it says, grading and full service support. There are 90 plus online classes that are available. So I would say a couple of those classes do vary slightly from what we're teaching on campus. For example, there is the option to take French. On our campus currently, we teach Spanish, and we don't actually have any other language options on campus currently. But if you are an Academy student and you are looking for a language curriculum, I've actually learned over the years that that's a hard one to track down. We've got it. Online French, also online Spanish, online math, everything you would need K through 12 as far as what you need academically for your students for a whole comprehensive school year, along with the grades and the records. Okay, so that is brand new. Again, it may need more clarifications, I'm sure, than what I'm saying, but just know that that is an option that we are launching. Also, the website is currently being built for us, but as soon as that's finished, it's going to take several weeks, but as soon as that interface is finished, I am hoping to kind of show pictures of that portal and what it will look like for your student. I got to see an example of the portal, and it's really well organized, and it is just laid out very simple. It definitely is a kind of a, I hate to use this phrase, but plug and play type thing where you just sit down and your work is laid out for you. It's really wonderful. Okay, and then moving on to option number 3. This is called SCCS Online Plus. And what that means is that you want the record keeping, you want SCCS Online, but you also want the access to all the things that I discussed before this, the field trips, the sports, the college advisement, even I would like to come on campus to take 3rd grade art or music, or I would like to take 10th grade chemistry. This is for you. If you want the online option and you are an Academy family, but you also want the kind of school community, so kind of everything we have to offer, that's this last option. For those of you who are either current Academy families or you're looking at us and you're thinking, I want the Academy option, but I'm not interested in the online learning, that is also totally available. The program that we have as we know it, with all of the features that I've described, that's not really written on here because this is kind of talking about our newer options, including the online, but the option to just be an Academy family and also be involved in athletics and all the social events and enrichment and on-campus classes, just the way our program has run for the past 4 years, that is still available as well. So what we're looking at here is a bunch of different options we hope will serve you as a homeschooler. That's really what we're seeking to do, is make our program as accessible to as many as possible who are wanting to partner with us. So here's the financial investment. I'm not going to go through each because I don't really want to confuse anything. So this is going to be housed on our website. There's kind of the different tiers of involvement. That first one, again, we just need the umbrella of your private school. That's that. Second option is umbrella plus online curriculum available to you. And then third option is all of it, everything. And then if you do want to be a part of our program, but you are not interested in the online part, that would be the little asterisk at the bottom. So I'm seeing questions, and I want to stop blabbing on and on because I definitely don't want to confuse anything. So let me open up my question box really quickly here. Okay, let me see. Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry. Getting there. Okay, does the Academy have lessons? Thank you so much for these questions, by the way. Does the Academy have lessons taught online by teachers, or are the lessons provided for the parent to teach? That's a great question. Wondering for younger kids who are still learning to read and can't read what is online, if they'll have something to watch or if they need extra help to grasp concepts. That's a really good question. So if you're asking about online, SCCS Online, it is a video-based curriculum. So it is either that the child would watch a video, or yes, that there would be something that a parent or someone would have to read to them, but most of it is video-based. So yes, for this, it's very well developed. Basically, BJU Press has a homeschool curriculum as well that they offer. And so they do kind of understand this format, and they've been able to expand it. So the partnership with a Christian school is even better. But what it is a video-based lecture, not lecture really, but lessons that your child would watch. I got to see one of them, and it's basically like, oops, sorry, one person teaching your child is what it looks like. They don't have physical interaction with your child. It is a recorded session from what I saw. And if I'm wrong on the live versus recorded, I will correct that later. Hopefully that answers that question. Okay, next one. Are these online classes videos students watch, SCCS teachers teaching or BJU teachers, or is it all self-taught? Okay, thanks, Amanda. That's a good question. They are BJU Press teachers at this time. So because it's a kind of a packaged curriculum, it comes along with their instructors. It's something we are very confident in. We're very like-minded with them. So what we've seen and understand of the program is that it's excellent. So yes, it is a BJU teacher at this time. It's a pre-recorded curriculum. Okay, do you have tutoring support available? Yes, we do. We do offer tutoring support through SCCS, and our administration and school office can answer more questions about that. And then let's see. Sorry if I issued this. How many classes can we opt into on campus through the academy, and are those additional fees? Thank you. That's a good question, and that's not something that I addressed very well. So thank you, Andrea, for mentioning that. So if you are a K-6 family, you can attend any of our enrichment classes. So that would be computer, art, music, and PE. That's what it has been now. Based on demand, we are looking to expand that list, and we are looking at the option of potentially, figuring out that schedule so it accommodates homeschool families even better. That will all be based on need and what that looks like as far as the community and what kind of we try to cater to the needs of our homeschool families as they come to us and make suggestions. So right now for K-6, it's the 4 enrichment classes. And yes, those are extra fees. I believe it's $400 per class per year for elementary. 7th through 12th may take up to 2 on-campus courses. Those can be any course. They are full year classes. They are your child comes on campus and joins their grade and goes to that class with their grade. Those prices I don't have off the top of my head because they have changed a little bit. Actually, it's a good price, a very good price, but those are listed on our website. And so really, while I'm talking about any enrichment class for elementary, 2 on-campus classes for grades 7th through 12th. And while I'm talking about extra fees, there are things that carry an extra fee beyond what you're seeing on this screen. So things like athletics and sometimes like even social events, sometimes there's a fee for Christmas banquet tickets, spiritual life retreat. There's things that carry an extra fee. Basically, you are charged the same amount that our full-time students are charged for those different things. Okay, let me see. There is another one here. Thank you so much for these questions. You're helping me to think of things I'm not mentioning. Will we be able to switch from academy into the regular school later in the middle of the year? Yes, absolutely. We have had that happen, and we are always happy to welcome you into the full-time program. A lot of our families tell us that once they kind of get involved in our community and their students make friends, or you get to know the teachers, etc., their children who were previously homeschooled want to be on campus. We have definitely had that happen, and so you are able to make that switch anytime. And the beauty of using SCCS Online, or even any of our curriculum, is that your child can move seamlessly from online to full day and will have been learning the same thing. But even for students that are doing their own program at home or taking dual credit classes elsewhere, anything like that, we have not had a problem with our homeschooled students moving into full-time enrollment, regardless of what curriculum they're using at home. Okay, yes, and also, let's see, you are welcome to enroll as long as there is space in the physical classroom. You are welcome to enroll in the on-campus program any time of the year. In the academy, same thing. We really don't have a limit on space with the academy. Anyone can enroll at any time. You just have to know that your grades and our record keeping is kind of based on when you enroll. Okay, let me see. Are there other questions? I really appreciate all these, so keep the questions coming. Did I cover it all? Let me just summarize there that we are, oh, I see one more. We are planning on opening our doors to our students on August 18th. That is, obviously fluid based on what everything looks like, but the plan and what we're kind of aggressively working towards is, with the appropriate safety measures, moving to that August 18th date. Let's see, what is the average class size on campus? Good question. For K through 12, will that change with social distancing? So our average class size, Mrs. Preheim, are you muted? Can you give me an idea of average class size for elementary?
Yeah, so our elementary classrooms average anywhere between, I would say, 13 to 18 students.
Okay. Okay, let me see. Yes, 13 to 18 students. And again, I'll mention, because I love this, that that is with a teacher and usually also a teacher's aide. So you have 2 adults in those elementary classes, which is wonderful. And then in high school, it ranges from about 20 to 25 is on the higher end per class. So those also are really, really great sizes, and our students all get individualized attention. It's been really wonderful for that. Let's see. I think there was one more. Nope, I got it. That was that last one. Okay, so along with the opening of our school on August 18th, Lord willing, of course, if a plan B, C, D, E, F, or G has to happen in the next several weeks, then that will be discussed at that point. I know things are constantly changing, and our administration is trying to do basically, everything they can to make sure that we can safely move forward with our students. Oh, our last question was about social distancing. I do not know the answer to that. Dr. Wilson would know that better. I know that he will follow all appropriate safety measures within reason, obviously, as long as our students can be back on campus safely. That's what his hope is, and I know that he can answer that question. I don't want to say anything without knowing the details of that, but I know we'll have to follow safety measures. I know that he's really seeing the benefit of our kids coming back to school. Okay, so just one last thing I want to summarize, and I've gone way over my time, so I apologize for that, is that those new options for our Academy families, including SCCS Online, if you have any questions about any of that, please call us, email me, check out the website. My email address, I don't know if was on that last slide, but it's lkistler@sccs.cc. We're answering questions all the time, as this is a time for a lot of people to evaluate schooling decisions. Just know that we're here for you and very happy to answer your questions or help you at all with all of the things surrounding what our hope is, that our programs will offer an option that will work with your family, whatever that looks like. So again, there's a lot of flexibility there based on your family's need in the Academy, and we are hopeful that we can, partner with you and help you as you seek the best academic path for your child. So thank you again for joining us. I'm sorry I went a little long. Thank you, Mrs. Preheim, so much for all of your knowledge about elementary and all that you do for our teachers and families. And for Mrs. Gibson, who is behind the scenes helping us with the slides and all of that, thank you so much. And for those of you who are watching, I really, really appreciate your interest. And I look forward to meeting with you virtually or in person as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.